My son sat outside in the cold while my family ate Easter dinner without him. And I let them. I know how that sounds. But stay with me, because what I did next changed everything. My name is Maya. I'm 34, a single mom, and the one person in my family who always played peacemaker. My son Eli is 7. Sweet kid. Obsessed with dinosaurs, hates loud noises, gives the best hugs. He had been talking about Easter Sunday for weeks. The egg hunt, the food, seeing his cousins. I should have known something was wrong when my mother Carol didn't confirm our seats until the night before. We showed up to that restaurant in our Easter best, Eli in his little navy blazer, grinning. And within 4 minutes of arriving, my family looked at my son and said there was no space for him at the table. 12 seats. 11 family members. 1 empty chair. I could see through the glass. And here's what I need you to understand. This wasn't an accident. This had been building for 7 years. I just never let myself see it clearly. Until that moment. Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. When I tell you what I did next, you'll understand why they panicked the following morning. The reservation had 12 seats. My family had 11 people. The math was never the problem. We arrived at 1 p.m. sharp. The restaurant was warm, smelled like glazed ham and fresh bread. Eli grabbed my hand and squeezed. He was nervous around big groups, but excited. I remember thinking, this is going to be a good day. Priya, my sister-in-law, met us at the entrance. She's 35, polished, always the one managing the logistics of family events. She hugged me, then looked down at Eli, and something crossed her face. Not surprise exactly. More like inconvenience. Oh, she said. We didn't account for him. I laughed. I actually laughed because I assumed it was a mistake. I looked past her into the private dining room. Round table. 12 chairs. 1 visibly empty. I pointed at it. Carol, my mother, 61, the quiet authority of our family, stepped smoothly in front of Priya. That seat's already assigned, Maya. Please don't make a scene. No one at that table looked up. Then Eli tugged my sleeve. Mom, is it because I'm too loud sometimes? 7 years old. Navy blazer. Asking if he was the problem. I sent him to the patio bench outside. Not because I accepted their excuse, but because I needed 60 seconds alone with my family to ask a question I'd been avoiding for years. I had asked Derek once, years ago, why he was cold toward Eli. He laughed it off. This time, I didn't give him the option. I stepped inside that private dining room, and I went straight to my brother. Derek is 38, broad-shouldered, the kind of man who mistakes confidence for correctness. I kept my voice low, controlled. Why doesn't this family want my son here? He didn't flinch. He told me I was being dramatic, that I always made everything about myself. Carol appeared at his shoulder like she'd been waiting, told me to lower my voice, to manage my emotions, to not ruin the holiday. I almost backed down. I almost did what I always do. Instead, I opened my phone. 2 years ago, Derek left me a voicemail. Drunk. Careless. In it, he said, plainly, unmistakably, that he didn't believe Eli was a real Carlton. That my son had no business inheriting anything from this family. I pressed play. Right there. At the Easter table. The room went silent. Carol's face didn't show shock. It showed something worse, recognition. She already knew. This wasn't a seating mistake. This was a coordinated message. And they'd been sending it for 7 years. I walked back outside, sat down next to Eli on that bench, and made one quiet phone call. By morning, they'd understand exactly what that call set in motion. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was hurting, because I was working. Here's what my family never paid attention to, my father Raymond's will. He passed 4 years ago, left behind a family trust, substantial, carefully structured. Derek always dismissed the fine print as old man sentimentality. He shouldn't have, because buried in that trust was a conduct clause. Raymond had insisted on it. Language that tied distributions to demonstrated family unity and the fair treatment of all direct descendants. Derek thought it was unenforceable. He was wrong. What Derek also didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I was co-executor. Quietly, deliberately. Raymond had chosen me specifically, and I had never announced it. That phone call was to James, our state attorney. 55, meticulous, no nonsense. I told him what happened. I sent him the voicemail. I sent him photos of Eli sitting alone on that bench, time-stamped, Easter Sunday. Then I exercised my authority as co-executor and moved Eli's trust allocation into a separate protected account, shielded, untouchable. Derek's disbursement? Frozen. Pending formal conduct review. The next morning, Derek called Carol. Carol called Priya. Then all three called me, simultaneously. They'd checked the account. Something was gone, and they had absolutely no idea how deep it went. They called it an overreaction. James called it airtight. Here's the full picture. Derek had spent years building a quiet campaign, whispering to Carol, to Priya, to anyone who would listen, that Eli wasn't a true Carlton. No legal basis. No evidence. Just poison, dripped slowly into every family gathering until excluding my 7-year-old from an Easter table felt normal to them. He was protecting his share. That's all it ever was. The estate attorney confirmed that the voicemail, combined with documented exclusion of a named beneficiary, was sufficient to trigger a formal conduct review. Derek's freeze held for 4 months. He eventually received a reduced disbursement and lost his advisory role in the trust entirely. Carol called once. She apologized to me, not to Eli, for letting things go too far. I thanked her and ended the call. That Easter evening, Eli and I ordered takeout, spread everything across the living room floor, and watched his favorite movie. He fell asleep halfway through, head in my lap. He didn't know what I'd done. He just knew that day I chose him without hesitation. I restructured the trust shortly after, removing Derek from any oversight position permanently. My father built that trust to protect his family. I made sure it protected the right ones. Eli will never sit outside again.